Hello there. There are many countries where Halloween is not widely celebrated. It's particularly considered a Western holiday. However, there are similar celebrations in a lot of countries, but the thing is, they are handled quite different from what we do here in the States, which means for your interracial or intercultural relationship, that you may have a different idea on what it means or how to celebrate Halloween than your partner, especially if your partner is from a different country. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you a few cultures and some of their traditions that are somewhat similar to Halloween so that you can be knowledgeable, because you know the loveologist always wants you to be knowledgeable on things so that when you encounter something new in this relationship, you can actually handle it and talk about it calmly. Welcome to Ask the Loveologist. I'm April. I am your favorite loveologist. I'm a certified matchmaker, certified love coach, and the president and CEO at Authentic Love, where interracial relationships are our number one priority. So before we dig in, let's take care of a few housekeeping things. Take a moment, please. Do me a great favor and share this with three of your friends and let them know that they need to come and learn some things about interracial relationships and Halloween. Also, if you are on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, like, and if you're on the other social medias, then go ahead and follow and like as well. Now, let's get into this because our topic today is Halloween and the interracial couple. Like I said, there are many countries where Halloween is actually not widely celebrated. It's typically considered a Western holiday. And I want my followers to be knowledgeable because I know when you're in an intercultural or interracial relationship, sometimes things just come up that maybe you didn't think about. And so I want you to be knowledgeable when Halloween comes around, which is actually, I believe, tomorrow, or in a future relationship, so that you can actually be able to talk about it nice and calmly. You know, I recently spoke at a conference and it was titled Creating Magic in Your Relationship. And this is one way that you can create magic in your relationship, or shall I say, you can also make your relationship a bit tighter by honoring your partner's culture with your knowledge of some of the traditions. And that is my purpose for always sharing with you things that have to do with other cultures. Excuse me, my nose is just really itching. So let's jump right in. The first culture I want to discuss here is China. Halloween is not widely celebrated in China. However, they celebrate what they call the Hungry Ghost Festival. And by the way, if you see me looking away or looking down, it's because I have notes. So again, China is a place where Halloween is not widely celebrated, but what they do celebrate is Hungry Ghost Festival. It usually happens in August. So there's two differences right there. The name of it and the fact that it happens in a whole nother month. It's been celebrated for over 100 years. And the deal is that some of the people in that area believe that their past ancestors will return to check on their families. So what they do is they actually leave food and drink out for these ancestors that may come to visit. And you may be driving down the road and you will see people with bonfires on the side of the road. You may see them burning incense, and you may even see fake money down on the ground because they're leaving these things for these ancestors to have in their afterlife. Another thing that they do in China is they have outdoor performances such as an opera or maybe some type of small or short play out in the parks. And they also may have a huge dinner when they have this celebration. And when I say a huge dinner, what I mean is not just the immediate family, but the extended family or the extended family. So they may have this big um, celebration dinner, but what they do is they actually set an extra plate or an extra place for these ancestors that they feel may come to this celebration. Now, when it comes to India, India has actually been, shall I say, Halloween has been gaining popularity in India. And the reason it's gaining popularity is because they're seeing more of the Western world's TV shows that may express something about Halloween. Also, the younger generation from India is being more exposed to the Western world, so they are actually able to share the information with their families there. And so, this is what is helping Halloween gain traction there in India. Sometimes Halloween actually falls on the weekend of a celebration that they have called Diwali. And I apologize if I mispronounced that. So let me spell it for you. It's Diwali. Diwali. Be sure that you go and look it up and see what all they do during that holiday. But Diwali is called the Festival of Lights, and it has to do with them lighting a lamp, a clay lamp outside their door. It's also the largest festival that they have there in India. It's considered a national festival, and it's also celebrated by Hindu and Buddhist. So when Halloween and Diwali happen to fall on the same weekend, you can actually go to any of the bars and the clubs, and they may have activities going on inside their establishment that actually relates to Halloween and Diwali, so that you're celebrating them both at the same time. Now, in Africa, Halloween basically has no significance. And if you happen to find in Africa some people that may be having some type of Halloween celebration, such as a Halloween party, or maybe they're just taking their children around to particular homes to collect candy, it could be because of this. There are expatriates in Africa, and this is something that they can do to celebrate a home tradition. Now, if you don't know what an expatriate is, those are persons who their job or their spouse's job has sent them out of the country to work. And not just to work for a few days or a month or whatever. They sent them out of the country to live there and work. And so that's what an expatriate is. So there may be a community of expatriates and they're wanting to celebrate Halloween. And so they may be just taking their children, getting their children dressed in their Halloween costumes and taking them around to the other persons in their little community and collecting candy. Or they may throw some type of Halloween party or masquerade party because they're from the Western world, from here maybe, and they're interested in doing something from home to have fun. Now, I was married to a guy from Ghana, and when I got married, I was done celebrating Halloween. It was no interest to me at all. And so he had no interest in it either. So we just simply did not celebrate Halloween. We didn't turn our light on. We didn't buy any candy for the neighborhood kids or any of that. And so Africans who are here, they may or may not celebrate Halloween. And it's probably going to depend also on whether they've grown up here or not. Now, when it comes to Americans, we're interesting when it comes to Halloween. I know we like to celebrate Halloween and have fun, and the kids like all the candy and the dressing up and taking other pictures and all of that. But Americans and our Halloween tradition, we are quite interesting. And, you know, a lot of times when it comes to being in an interracial relationship, you have to look at things, step out of yourself and look at things from your partner's point of view. Because, see, I just told you about several other cultures and I told you about different things that they do in their culture to celebrate or to not celebrate Halloween. And I know some of y'all was giving me the side eye and you had all kinds of thoughts going on. But let me tell you how Americans and us celebrating Halloween may be a bit odd to someone from another country. The thing is, here, Halloween has become very commercialized. We're all into the going to the stores. The stores have a whole section of costumes. If you go into a costume store when it's before Halloween, they may not have any other type of costumes out other than all these different scary and non-scary Halloween costumes. So it has become very, very commercialized. And for some people, Halloween has just really strayed away from the original thoughts of what it's about. But it's definitely focused on the kids putting on their costumes, because they even celebrate Halloween at school. They let the children come in their costumes. They may give them a little candy. Hopefully they're smart and don't give them candy until it's the end of the day. But anyway, and when they come home that evening, they're expecting parents or somebody to take them out knocking on doors and collecting candy. And another thing that we as Americans do when it's Halloween time is we tend to want to watch scary movies. And I would guess that a lot of the places that offer movies online that you can pay for, their sales probably go up. Again, it's quite commercialized. But the thing is, even as Americans, when it comes to Halloween, just within our little culture, I said a little, just within our culture in America, from Americans, we have different thoughts and different traditions when it comes to Halloween. So, of course, I've said about the costumes for the children, but also there are religious groups that have various ideas about Halloween. I remember some years ago, and I'm saying some years ago like it was a short time ago, so I'm going to go say back in the 80s maybe is when I first saw this. I noticed that a lot of religious groups were trying to get away from Halloween, or were trying to possibly impress upon children that Halloween is not something that we really promote or participate in. And so they went from calling it trick or treat to a lot of Christian groups call it trunk or treat. And what they would do is, if they had a gym, they would invite people to bring their children that were under a certain age, dressed up in their costumes. And they usually try to suggest that they use some type of religious costume and not any of the scary costumes that we see. And in the gym, different families or different groups would have come, and they have trunks, and they will put the candy in there. And that way the little kids could go from station to station to station and collect candy. And that way they would have participated in Halloween like their counterparts. When they got back to school the next day, they would find out, well, what did you do? What did you do? And so that is something that in the religious area that they have done. They've changed it from trick or treat to trunk or treat. And they call themselves trying to provide more of a safe place and to encourage the children that this is not to be a scary item, and that they could wear angel costumes or biblical characters or some type of character from whatever their book was that religion study from. Then we also have costume parties or masquerade parties that a lot of Americans may have when it comes to Halloween. And interracial couples typically would go to various events during the Halloween season and have themed outfits together. So some of the outfits that interracial couples or intercultural culture couples might have might be dressed as Fred and Wilma Flintstone, or they may be dressed as a doctor and a nurse, or Batman and Batwoman, or Beyonce and Jay-Z. But like I said, even us as Americans, we do things a little different, because I could see somebody from another culture who this was their first time encountering Halloween here in the United States going, why do you go knock on the door and get candy when you can go to the store and buy it? Why? You know, why do you get dressed up and look like celebrities? Because in their country, whatever celebration they have, they may not be looking like celebrities. So what I want to impress on you is something that I've said many, many times, and that is you want to be sure that you are communicating in your relationship, because you don't want to have these miscommunications that can cause friction. And this is something that would probably raise a lot of questions. And another thing that I have noticed when I'm talking to someone and they're telling me that they are challenged when it comes to maintaining a good relationship or having success in relationships, one of their excuses is, but I don't want to be explaining stuff. But the thing is, it really doesn't matter whether you're with someone who is from your culture or from another culture. You're going to have to explain stuff, because your family and your extended relatives handle traditions different than the person down the street. So again, I want to impress upon you that you want to be sure that you are communicating, that you understand, or that you're trying to be understanding with your partner when it comes to different celebrations and the fact that they can be celebrated different. Because like I said, the way we celebrate, particularly Halloween, can look odd to them. And you want to also be aware that for this particular tradition, they may prefer to take a vacation and go back to their homeland and go to a festival if there's a festival in their city. Sometimes they have festivals in these other countries that actually last for 4 and 5 days. So you just want to be aware of what is going on and communicate with your partner on what you want to do, because it could be that they don't want to go to a masquerade party. It could be that they don't want to get all dressed up, because you also have to realize, even in this short list of things that I've shared with you about Halloween and other cultures, is that to us, like I said, Halloween has been very commercialized and we like to do the party thing. But to them, this type of celebration could be very sentimental. It could be very private. So be sure that you are communicating in your relationship, because the way you handle this Halloween tradition, or as I said, what did they call it in China? The Hungry Ghost Festival, or whatever it is that you are discussing or planning to celebrate, make sure that you both communicate and that you understand each other, because there are some things that we as Americans may not want to celebrate because we don't believe in those things. And there could be things that they don't want to celebrate with you, especially when it comes to this Halloween tradition, because it deals with so many different personal and spiritual aspects. So I hope that I have shared with you today some good information to help you in your interracial, intercultural relationship. to help you maintain a little spice, that is knowing something about your partner's culture when it comes to this particular tradition, so that you can honor and respect what they like to do, and they can do the same for you. So, I want to remind you of a few things that we've talked about in these last few weeks. And one thing is this: we are planning here at Authentic Love to have a virtual mixer. And you're like, what is a virtual mixer? Well, this is where we will all come online on Zoom. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have prizes, games. We're going to get to meet people and connect with people. Because, see, here's the thing. I know a lot of you, when it comes to an interracial or intercultural relationship, you want to be in one, but one of your biggest questions is, how do I connect with someone from a different culture? Where do I find people of a different culture? And so many of you are out there asking your friends who are in interracial or intercultural relationships, does he have a brother? Does she have a cousin? Well, what we are doing is we are planning to provide you with a location that you can come to and connect with people from other cultures, because I really am doing my best to reach my goal of connecting 10,000 people with their forever partner. So if you want to participate in this online mixer, I know it may be a first for you, but honey, you just got to step out of your comfort zone. So if you want to participate in this online mixer, I need you to go over there to the comments and type mix, MIX, just 3 letters in the comments, so that I will get in touch with you and we can get you the information. Now, if you should happen to have questions and you really would like me to answer your question, maybe you want it to be private so that everybody else doesn't hear it, or maybe you don't want them to know that the question is from you, then scrolling across the bottom of the screen is the link to my calendar. You are welcome to get on my calendar, ask me your question. I will be glad to get you your answer, because I want you to be successful in your intercultural or interracial relationship. And don't forget, I can also help you if you would like to be in a traditional relationship as well. So once again, if you want to participate in our online virtual mixer, where we're going to have fun, games, DJ, and just meet other people from other cultures, then go ahead and type the word mix in the chat. Let me look over here. Yes. Be sure that you put the word mix in the chat so that we can get in touch with you. And I was just gone, wasn't I? I was just gone and didn't even stop and check the chat. So let me stop and check the chat and see what questions are in the chat. Well, first of all, happy Monday to you, and thank you all for chiming in. This was such an interesting subject for me, and interesting things for me to learn as well. Once I got into it, I was just gone. So there's a question here, so I need to read it and see what it says. I think it says, how would you go about telling that person you want to be a part of this celebration? Well, I've often said to you that when you're dating somebody from another culture, you want to make sure you learn some things about their culture. And you don't always want to just depend on them to learn things about their culture. So I would suggest to you that you do a little research on their culture, on particular holidays, and that way you would know something about what they wanted to participate in. And it could be that sometimes when someone is in a different culture, they won't tell you that they're longing to do something from home. So I would, if you know there's something particular that they do for a particular holiday, I would bring it up to them. But also, if they are talking about it and you want to participate in it, just go ahead and say you want to participate in that and ask them, what can you do or what do we need to get to make this happen? Because um, if you're not typically bringing in the house or bringing into your house or their house some of the things or supplies or maybe the food or whatever, then you'll need to go out and get things. So let them know not only do you want to participate, but you want to help to be a part of creating it or setting it up. Let's see here. What are my thoughts or ideas to tell the person you aren't interested in celebrating this holiday? Well, one of the most important things is for you to be comfortable and solid about whether you want to do it or not. That's the first thing. And not be afraid to say you don't want to participate. Sometimes you may need to share with the person not only you don't want to participate, but maybe you want to share with them why you don't want to participate. I spoke a little bit about people in the Christian arena or the Christian community. They have various reasons why they don't want to, but this is something in anybody's religion. There may be certain traditions that they just don't want to participate in. And the thing is, you have to respect their decision just like they have to respect your decision if you don't want to participate in something. So, like I said, you may want to just share with them and explain why. Another thing you might want to do before you actually just jump right out there and say, I don't want to participate in it, you might want to ask a few questions and get a bit more information on it if you don't know a lot about what it is they want to do. But another thing too is you can say that you don't want to participate in it, but you are not going to prevent them from participating in it. So what you have to do is just use your instincts, your knowledge, and your values when it comes to handling things like that. Okay, now this is a serious question right here. This is a real good one. Is this a sign to break up with the person if they can't understand your feelings? I'm going to say yes and no. It may be a conversation that gets to be a little hot, and you might need to let it cool down and see how it goes. It could be also a red flag for you. Because just like I said before, you want to make sure that you are comfortable and solid in your own values and your own beliefs and what you will and will not do. And it may be necessary for you to break up, but it may not necessarily be the thing to do to break up. So did any of the responses I gave to the questions help? Did I say them clearly, or do we need to go back over some? I'm going to take me some water and give you a moment to respond to that. Like I said, when I'm doing these kind of discussions and I'm really sharing with you a lot of information, my objective is for you to be equipped and have some knowledge on some things that can come up in an interracial or intercultural relationship. Because we all could use that person that has just a little bit more knowledge on something to share ideas and information with us before we encounter something. So since we were here, right here at Halloween, this is what came to my mind that I wanted to share with you. And I trust that you receive some great value and that you will share this with your friends. And again, if you are interested in being a part of the virtual mixer, be sure that you put mix in the comments. I saw a mix in there. This is a great way for you to meet other people, learn about some other cultures, just have some fun. Because another thing I know as well is that a lot of single people want something to do. And then there's a lot of single people who just want to have a successful relationship with someone that they're compatible with. And we all know that when you go into an interracial relationship or an intercultural relationship, that is really one area that you can find someone that you're really compatible to. One more question is in here. Is there one traditional? I don't understand the question. Is there one tradition? Oh, is there one tradition that's more important at this time? Well, if I understand your question right, is there one tradition that's more important at this time? I don't believe there really is. I believe the tradition that's important is the tradition that goes with whatever you're celebrating. And it's whichever one that you prefer, or the one that your group of people, or you and your group of people like to do the most, or that you get the most enjoyment out of. You know, like I said, right now, here in the United States, the big deal is dress up the children in all of these interesting, somewhat scary, somewhat not scary costumes, go knocking on doors and collecting candy. You know, in another country, it was putting out food for your ancestors who have gone on. In another country, they're just not paying attention to Halloween at all. So it's what you do that makes you and the people around you happy and satisfied with that particular celebration. All right, then. I'm looking over here to see if you have more questions. I have a question for you. And by the way, here's another point that I didn't say, and that is even Americans here, some just flat out, I think I did say this though, some just flat out don't celebrate Halloween. So put in the chat, if you are celebrating Halloween, what are you going to do to celebrate Halloween this year? Or if you're not celebrating Halloween, just put in there, don't. And that way we'll know that you just don't celebrate it, which is just fine. Whatever you do is perfectly fine. Like I said, I stopped celebrating Halloween back in the 80s. And I think actually it was probably because I was just grown up, bored with it, whatever. I wasn't getting any type of fun out of it. And now that I'm older, I really have no interest in celebrating Halloween. Well, thank you again for coming. I'm April, the LOVEologist. I'm your favorite LOVEologist. And I'm a certified matchmaker, a certified love coach, as well as the president and CEO at Authentic Love, where interracial relationships are our number one. I'm going to get my finger straight here. Number one priority. So I'm looking forward to having you hang out with us as we have our virtual mixer and just have fun and enjoy each other. So again, thank you for watching. Be sure you share. And I'm going to say bye-bye now.